This build needs to be banned in NBA 2K23. Unless something has changed, what I'm about to show you guys in this video will become the meta when it comes to park, and maybe even the meta when it comes to proing. Genuinely, it's just so overpowered, so toxic, and so easy to play. Alright, so the build that I think is honestly just so overpowered, it needs to be banned or at least patched. Going to be a point guard build, so you're going to want to put this at the point guard position, but it will work at shooting guard or small forward as well, but point guard is just the most toxic position. Then you guys see it's 6'9" for the height, a minimum weight, and then 7'4" for the wingspan. Now I will show you guys a different version a little bit after this with higher wingspan, but majority of players are going with a 74 wingspan instead. This version is definitely better all around, but the version I'm about to show you guys is honestly just so toxic that I kind of don't want to show you guys this because I don't want to play against it. You guys see based on the body settings right here, you're a point guard, but you are a giant. And even with that being said, somehow you're getting an 87 ball handling. Like, come on, 2K. So based on the finishing right here, you're only getting 18 badges. But as far as finishing badges go, you really don't need that high badges. All you really need is a 93 driving dunk and at least 17 plus finishing badges. So that way you can get elite contact dunks and gold posterizer. You're going to be rim running so much on this build. It's so toxic. Really, the only way to stop this 6'9" build is to use another 6'9" build against it. I'm not even kidding. For shooting, you guys see you will still be able to green even though you're 6'9". The fact that you can get an 85 3-point rating with silver limitless range and 21 total shooting badges is absolutely insane. Like, this build shooting is just as good as a lot of guard builds. Pair that with the absolutely insane dunking, you can just rim run all day long, and if they leave you open even just once, you're gonna be greening it. Like, honestly, there is no way to stop this build. And then moving on to playmaking, you guys see you're getting 20 total playmaking badges and an 87 ball handling. I don't know who at 2K thought it'd be a good idea to give an 87 ball handling to a 6'9" build. And then onto defensive / rebounding, you're basically a lockdown too. I mean, that's a kind of an exaggeration, obviously, but you're getting an 86 perimeter defense and an 87 block, as well as a 76 interior and a 77 steal. So definitely your defense is going to be very good, so you can play both sides of the floor very well. And then onto the physicals, you guys can see this is definitely quite good. Genuinely, as I was kind of already saying, there is no way to stop this build. The way I see most people playing on this build is they just spam rim runs. And as I already said, unless you're being guarded by another build that's at least 6'8" and taller, there's no way you're stopping the rim running. And then once they do give up trying to prevent the rim runs and they start to sag off, you get an 85 3-point rating, so you're greening very consistently. And even if you do turn the ball over on the 2s or the 1s, you're a 6'9" build with silver clamps, like you're locking them up. Like, honestly, there is no way to stop this build. Like, honestly, if you're running this at the point guard position, literally the only way you're getting beaten is if you run against a very similar lineup, or if you're playing against a small guard that's able to hit a 3 every single possession, which really isn't even that possible because you're 6'9" with an 86 perimeter D. Like, bro, if there's one build I hate playing against so much, it's this build right here. Now for the takes, I'm going to go with first limitless range and second extreme clamps. If you do get primary takeover on this build, there's no way you're getting stopped, like genuinely. And then secondary takeover extreme clamps, in my opinion, makes a lot of sense. You could honestly put this as the primary takeover to just turn into a lockdown if you get take. And then you guys see I built an inside out scorer, which I think is a somewhat accurate name. Now, if you guys want to make this a very toxic 6'9" build on current gen, then this is pretty much how I'd recommend doing it. First off, for the position, this is still going to be point guard. Then for the body settings, basically the exact same thing. The builder is basically the exact same, but with only a few changes. So I'm not going to make like a totally different build. I'm just going to make a few changes because the builder is a little bit different. For the attributes, you guys see this is basically the exact same. I did make a few tweaks when compared to the previous build. For the takes, you don't get the same takeovers that you can on next gen, so I'm going with these takeovers instead. And you guys can pretty much see the build name right here. Yeah, all around, I just wanted to show you guys how to make this build on current gen instead if you guys are confused. Also, I am about to show you guys a different version of this 6'9" build, but on current gen, I just found that build doesn't really work super well, because I don't know, I just think Hall of Fame posterizer is just way better on next gen for some reason. Alright, so for the second build I'm going to show you guys is basically the exact same build, but it's a 99 driving dunk instead. And I don't really think that many people are using this build right here, at least this variation of the build. But since you get 99 driving dunk, in my opinion, it's way more toxic. Which is kind of the point of this video, is just to make toxic builds. So you guys see for the body settings, it's basically the exact same, but we're going with a 7'6" wingspan instead to get a 99 driving dunk. So that way, there's literally no big man build that is stopping you at the rim. For finishing, yeah, I don't need to explain this. 99 driving dunk, Hall of Fame posterizer, elite contact dunks and everything. You cannot stop the rim running on this build. And then even with that being said, your 3-point rating is only 2 ratings lower. So it's not like you can just sag off this build and pray you miss because you're gonna be greening. Your playmaking is a little bit worse with only 17 badges, but it's very, very similar. Those 3 badges really aren't gonna make that big of a difference. And then for the defense, this is honestly just even better. Like, this build is unstoppable. For these takeovers, I'd recommend going with first finishing moves and second limitless range this time, just because you get a 99 driving dunk. And then you guys see this time I built in 2-way inside out scorer, which in my opinion is a much cooler name. So if you care about names a lot, maybe run with this build right here. Now the third build I'm going to show you guys is kind of a build that I recommend pairing with the previous build. And trust me, on the 2s, if you play with one of those 6'9" builds and then this center build I'm about to show you guys, literally you will not be stopped. And then on the 3s, I honestly believe the most toxic lineup possible is just 2 of those 6'9" builds and then this center build I'm about to show you guys. I will explain a little bit later why I believe this center build is such a good pair for those previous builds, and just as a standalone build is also very, very toxic. For the body settings, you're going to want to go 1 off of max at 7'2". The weight, you're going to want to go with 237, and for the wingspan, go with 7'6". The reason why we're not going with max height is so that way we can get a 75 vertical for elite big man contacts, and just based on the sound of that, you guys can pretty much honestly already tell you're gonna be dunking on everyone. Not to mention with these body settings, you are also able to unlock a 93 defensive rebound for gold rebound chaser and an 89 strength for gold bully. Now moving on to the attributes. For the finishing attributes and badges, honestly it's just so good. Like bro, you're gonna be drop stepping kids, just pushing them out the way, and then you're getting elite big man contacts with gold bully, so nobody is stopping this build. And then plus somehow you're getting an 85 3-point rating. Like, dude, what? Moving on to playmaking, you really only need pass accuracy. I put this at a 66. And then your defense is just like crazy. You don't get Hall of Fame rebound chaser or Hall of Fame anchor, but you're 7'2" with a 7'6" wingspan. Like, bro, you're grabbing every rebound and getting every block imaginable. And not to mention, I already kind of talked about the physicals you guys see. You're getting an 89 strength for gold bully and then 75 vert for elite big man contacts. Yeah, as I said, this is a very, very toxic standalone build and also a very toxic build to run with one of those previous builds. If you're playing with one of those previous builds, basically you're just gonna sit in the corner, let that build ISO all day long. And as well, you're just able to green every single 3-pointer because you have an 85 3-point rating. And if the other team does manage to get the ball, your defense and rebounding is very, very crazy. Not to mention, you can just bully kids down low with this build. I honestly do hope that a lot of you guys don't just start running around with some combination of these 3 builds. And then moving on to the takeovers, you guys see I'm going with first stuff blocks to make this an absolutely insane defensive build and a second limitless range. Yeah, you guys see I built an inside out scorer, 24 total defensive / rebounding badges. I really don't understand the names in this game. Alright, so if you guys want to make this center build on current gen, this is pretty much how you do it. Position, still going to be center. For the body settings, it's basically going to be the exact same thing. I really don't know why I would change anything. For the attributes and badges, you guys can pretty much see what I'm going with. Again, only very, very minor tweaks. Just because like the badge level or wherever you unlock the badge is a little bit different. And then for the takes, pretty much the exact same thing, but it does look a little bit different, and like what it boosts is also a little bit different. And then boom, yeah, that's pretty much how you make the build, but just on current gen. But yeah, I really just do not hope that everyone starts running around with these builds, but honestly my guess in like 2 months from now is that everyone is going to be running with a 6'9" point guard. If they're playing 3s, then 2 6'9" point guards, and then just 1 shooting giant that sits in the corner all offensive possession, and then on defense has absolutely insane rim protection. Again, I already said this, but really the only way to counter this lineup right here is to run with the exact same lineup. So yeah, let me know if you guys agree with what I'm saying. This is definitely going to turn into the meta if it isn't already by the time this video drops. Yeah, if you did enjoy the video, please drop me a like and subscribe. There's 3 videos on the screen right now that are a bit less toxic. I'm out.